Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back for another BoshNRoll video. Today I'm playing Legacy at the request of Patreon subscriber Acid, and I am playing Hot Bant. Hot Bant is, of course, the Uro Swords to Plowshares Brainstorm core with a little bit of a red splash. But this deck looks a lot different than it did 3 months ago. Lord of the Rings really changed the texture of what we can do with this show. For starters, we have Delighted Halfling, which makes your legendary spells uncounterable. Legendary spells in this deck include Teferi Time Raveler, Uro Titan of Nature's Wrath, and the One Ring. All powerful spells. Which brings us to the One Ring itself. This card, super messed up, super powerful draw engine. This is kind of where I am with all my control decks right now. Any slot that used to be occupied by Jace the Mind Sculptor or Sorin the Mirthless, even Narset, even though she costs less and has a different kind of static ability, is still finding the One Ring more interesting. Extremely powerful card, and extra messed up when you can cast it on turn 3 and it's uncounterable thanks to Delighted Halfling. And the third piece of this trifecta, 4th Eorlingas. Red, white, X, make X 2/2 human knights with trample and haste. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to one or more players this turn, you become the monarch. This is great on turn 3 if you just want to take the monarch in a control mirror. It's great on turn 10 if you want to blast your opponent for 20 damage out of nowhere. And it's great basically everywhere in between. This is enough of a win condition on its own that basically this whole deck, and this is from OnZD. OnZ, friend of the show. We are both longtime lovers of Uro and Hot Bant strategies, 4-color control strategies. And OnZ is very good at testing the limits of new cards. He's not afraid to just put 4 copies of the One Ring into an established deck and say, what does this do? And he's also known for believing that drawing cards is a win condition, just in and of itself. Like, who needs to actually deal damage? I'm just going to draw so many cards, my opponent will die somehow. And I subscribe to that a bit, but not in the same way that OnZ does. So shout out to OnZ for 4 Teferi 4 One Ring. His build of the deck actually only had 1 4th Eorlingas, but I want a second one because I would like to win the game once in a while. 4th Eorlingas functions kind of as Entreat the Angels in the old Miracles decks in this deck, where you get control and then you just fire one in and win with it when you're ready. 4th Eorlingas, much better modality on this one than Entreat the Angels. You don't have to miracle it. It's pretty high impact at various stages. It leaves something behind, even if all the creatures get killed right away. This is a very cool card. And 2 copies of that plus Mystic Sanctuary, and then Mystic Sanctuary can be looped with Life from the Loam. You can even get into some crazy endgame where you're wastelanding your own Mystic Sanctuary to cast more 4th Eorlingases. More of these, and all those engines are built in. But really, what this deck is trying to do is resolve the One Ring, and Halfling makes it uncounterable. Teferi makes it uncounterable. At least functionally uncounterable. There are 8 ways on the curve leading up to the One Ring that will test or demand a counterspell before it arrives. And then once it arrives, you're just drawing cards going nuts. And that's kind of the whole plan for the deck. We got Brainstorm, Ponder, a bunch of forces, Terminus, Prismatic Ending. All this stuff is in here, but really this is the One Ring show, and we're all just here for it. Let's do this thing. This is Hot Bant. I'm on the draw in round 1 with kind of sad times. I have the Halfling into Teferi, but no green source. I am going to keep the hand, though. It has Force on the draw. Blue card I'm happy to pitch. Brainstorm fixes everything. If I draw the green source, I'm just going nuts right away. It's got upside. Easy game. I'm going to use Scalding Tarn, which can't fetch Savannah because it's a Scalding Tarn. I have to get Tropical Island here. And we're gonna get delighted. Opponent's on Prismatic Vista, though. Good chance this is a Swords to Plowshares target, and a pretty reasonable one at that. But like I said in the deck tech, it is kind of a must kill, or else Teferi's coming. We're doing something. Basic Plains. Stoneforge Mystic. Okay. I can use Teferi to bounce that. Not a great long-term plan. It's actually a bunch of card advantage in the meantime, but this is what I kept my hand on the strength of doing. Now I could Brainstorm and then Prismatic Ending Stoneforge. Or no, I would need a color out of Halfling, which it doesn't make for that spell. Okay, I'm going to bounce this thing and just deal with the long-term consequences. You later. Cool. Now I've got Teferi in play, force back up. I can kill the Stoneforge the next time down. Gotta assume Back to Basics is in this deck based on what's been going on here. Prismatic Vista, 3 basic lands, etc., etc. There's the Batterskull. There's a Ponder. You got it. My plan right now is to Brainstorm and Prismatic Ending, but we'll see if I draw something that changes that. I did draw the One Ring. Does that change my play here? I would lose to Fairy. Now I can just do everything over multiple turns here. Start with Brainstorm. Handful of Gas. Mystic Sanctuary on top of the deck. And I don't think I'm going to need another Brainstorm this game. Might seem aggressive to say that, but I think it's true. I can win the counter war over a Back to Basics, and then I just shove One Ring and draw cards until I'm happy. Prismatic Ending. For a white and a green, get rid of that. Doing it now. I could play it as an instant with Teferi, but then they would have a chance to put their stuff in. And I am going to attack. This might turn on like main phase Wandering Emperor, kill your Halfling, but I could force that if I need to. Another Stoneforge Mystic. Okay. Is there another equipment to go with this thing? I have the wrong force. I can't keep fighting these things. They are out of equipment. Deal. Another Halfling. Now I have a choice. I can cast Ponder, try to find an answer to Stoneforge, or I could just jam the One Ring and start going. I have Terminus and a bunch of other answers. I can answer Cauldra. The difference is keeping Teferi around versus not keeping Teferi around. Hard to know how many cards in their hand are locked out by Teferi right now. I think I'm going to Ponder, actually, because if I hit the white removal spell, I want to do that, and any land is a reasonable fallback. I found both of the things I wanted. Okay, and I can just have them both too. Don't shuffle. Play Tundra, Uro, green, blue, uncounterable. Getting all the engines online here. Allow the Stoneforge. I still have force up. Now there's an Uro they can see and a One Ring that they can't. There's your Teferi. I have to force some negation this, or else that's just not going to do anything. Brainstorm is my top card right now. Now I guess the question is, do I think One Ring is better than Uro? And yeah, I do. Plus Teferi, I can bounce it back to basics if I need to do that. I'm leaving green up because I have another Halfling in my hand. And I have protection from everything for now. Hit my land drop. There is a basic forest in the deck. I could play around back to basics a little bit here. I am going to do that. With 2 Halflings and 2 basic lands, I don't even have to fight over back to basics right now. Brainstorm resolves. They can turn these various equipments into real cards now. True name. Okay. Yep. That one will take some work. There's a Terminus in my deck that can deal with this, and I can also just fourth Eorlingas around it. I lose 1 life in my upkeep because the ring is hungry. I'm going to draw 2 cards. Wasteland and Volcanic Island. Okay. What do I do with all this? I said I don't think I'll need this Brainstorm, but what a foolish thing to say. You always need a Brainstorm. I'm going to Uro first. I'm going to use my Halflings to do it. They're not doing anything else. do have Life from the Loam and Mystic Sanctuary in my deck to consider for leaving cards in the graveyard with Uro. There's the Terminus. Maybe someday. I think I want to Brainstorm now. Another Uro. I do still have a land drop. I'm going to put back Wasteland and Terminus. And then play my other land plus Teferi. And I don't mind sweeping up all my stuff next turn if it also sweeps up all their stuff. They can hardcast Cauldra this turn. They could play Batterskull. The True Name's already resolved. This Terminus can do what it needs to do here. And then we go nuts with the Ring and the backup Uro. Another Stoneforge, you got it. Probably tutoring up one of the equipments we already saw. Love that Brainstorm interaction. Oh, it tutored up nothing. Interesting. Snapcaster Mage, sure. Yeah, it's interesting that the Stoneforge Mystic failed to find. Like, they didn't put back either of these equipment on their Brainstorm last turn. And with the Snapcaster in hand, they could have even responded to the Stoneforge trigger with Snap Brainstorm and then got the card advantage. Really curious what their master plan is here. Okay, True Name is attacking my Teferi. Yeah, I might not even actually flip the Terminus. Yeah, I think I actually should have put it second down, and then I could activate my One Ring. Because Teferi can just cast this thing during their combat step, and I get an Uro trigger in the meantime. One Ring, get greedy. Back with Uro. Wasteland into play. Handful of gas now. Okay, and then I can cast Uro off of the halflings that are gonna get Terminused away anyway. I could actually keep the... If I keep the new one, then they're both in the graveyard. I don't need two in the graveyard, though, and I think that's just suspicious for no reason. But it is interesting to consider. And there's fourth Eorlingas, and now we just win next turn. And I don't care if they activate Stoneforge. I'm going to Terminus in combat. Splat. Fourth Eorlingas is good for 12 damage right now. I can Force of Will the Batterskull if they hardcast it. Activating Stoneforge now doesn't matter because you'll lose the Germ token unless there's some other equipment here that I haven't seen yet. Okay. I mean, it puts Batterskull into play. If your plan is to play a different creature and have that carry the Batterskull, then this does save some long-term mana. Yeah, force blue card, and lethal in hand. Good luck, have fun. Not going to force a Brainstorm. Another Stoneforge. Do I have that beat? I'm just going to force this and go for the win right now. I will probably win even if I let this resolve, because it's a forced block and they go to 1 anyway. And then they just can't do anything. But I do have to consider the clock and that we have at least one more game to play with this deck that's potentially slow. Draw for turn. Another Teferi. Gonna One Ring. Load up. And I'm just gonna Eorlingas my opponent into crap. Red, white, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 horses. In for 14, GG. That feels better than Entreat the Angels ever did. And it's not particularly close. That was horse pun incoming. That was a ranching. Okay. Playing against what's almost certainly a back to basics deck. Stoneforge Mystic stuff going on. Terminus I like. Carpet of Flowers I probably like here. Blue Elemental Blast, interesting. We did see red mana. Sometimes these decks play Blood Moon or Ruination, and sometimes it's just some Pyroblasts. My Pyroblast coming in for sure, replacing Force of Negations. I'm going to cut an Uro, just one. I kind of expect Graveyard Hate, and I want to hedge a little bit in that direction. They're also a deck with white removal and the potential for Karakas, all of which is annoying against Uro. I like the Plows against the Stoneforge. I like the Prismatic Ending against the Stoneforge. They're not a Wasteland deck. Maybe Loam isn't that important. Loam's important if they have Ruination, and it's not important if they don't. And Carpet of Flowers solves that problem anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna side grade Loam into Carpet. Maybe I can drop one Swords to Plowshares for another Carpet. And how do I get this other Terminus in here? I think Delighted Halfling is really important. Generally, if you have multiple Wraths in your deck, you don't want a bunch of Mana Dorks too. But Oddsy did build this deck responsibly with only 3 in the first place. And getting that first Teferi down, pretty important. All right, I'll just play with one Terminus and outmuscle True Name Nemesis the old-fashioned way. I'm way more worried about Stoneforge Mystic than I am True Name. I'll keep this hand kind of slow, kind of clunky, but it's got lands and spells in it. Access to basic is there. Brainstorm, always had it. End step Brainstorm from the opponent, interesting. That makes me think they have the Stoneforge and they're looking for land number 2 to cast it. Okay, they have land number 2. They floated blue, then fetched. Not that that sequencing really matters. It ends up in the same place. Okay, they did have Stoneforge. And I have Prismatic Ending in my deck and in my hand. It's all good. Cauldron complete in your hand. Teferi coming down the stretch here. And I can fetch Savannah and get all my colors under me. Yeah, I'm just going to do that. Mystic Sanctuary making things a little weird. Brainstorm's ready to fix all my problems, though, as it does. This is the big turn, though. Okay, do I want to try to fight through a Teferi? I don't think that I do. I'm going to force pitching Uro. There's only 1 Uro left in my deck and 2 4th Eorlingas. But I don't want that card around. Another Force of Will. Okay, Brainstorm, fix everything. Cool. Mystic Sanctuary's out of here. Ooh, maybe Prismatic Ending should be on top. And keep the land. Yeah, I'll put Prismatic Ending on top. If I need that, I have it. If I don't need it, I can shuffle it away. But I have a 4th Eorlingas with counter backup this turn. If it becomes a Monarch Bash Fest. They did not shuffle their Ponder, and then did not play a card. I'm going to shuffle away my Prismatic Ending. And I'll get at least 1 basic under me here. Ooh, okay. They're kind of showing Snapcaster here. Snap Brainstorm is a good way to use their resources here. But I'm going to just jam one of these Eorlingas. If I can take the Monarch here, we're in good shape. And now the options are attack with 1 horse, which defends naturally against Snapcaster, or attack with 2 horses and just commit to the battle. I think I want to commit to the battle. Okay, they do have Snapcaster. I have a second 4th. I have more power than they do in play. Oh wow, they're blocking. That's not even good. These have trample. I think you're just supposed to take 4 and then hit back with Snapcaster and become the Monarch. Yeah, you saved 1 damage and I'm still the Monarch. That's not how I would have played that turn. And I get to start drawing extra cards. There's the One Ring. You know, it's a pretty cool combo. The One Ring and the Monarch. Protection. Can't take it. I'm going to let them have Stoneforge. Teferi can bounce it, or One Ring can shrug it off. Okay, they just tutored up Cauldron again. They move that away with their Brainstorm. And I can just attack here. Or I can not attack. What does that do? I am going to attack, actually. Because I have the One Ring with Force backup. I think that's better than playing Teferi here. One Ring. I'm going to leave up white mana in case I draw a Swords to Plowshares off of my ring draw. Spell Pierce, bummer. Fairy would have been great. Who knew? I am committed to fighting over this ring however I can, because I'm in bad shape otherwise. Brainstorm. That Spell Pierce was really good. Just a nice little 1-for-1 counter spell. It got 2 cards on my hand, even if it doesn't work. And if it does work, like if they have another counter spell. Oh wow, another Brainstorm. Okay, so they're looking at 1 new card now after the last Brainstorm. Again, hard for Force here. Moment of truth. One Ring is in. Okay, cool. That means I get another turn with the Monarch. I get 2 looks at Swords to Plowshares here. The first one missed. The second one, it's not Swords to Plowshares, but it does clear Cauldron. And I can't take damage this turn. Narset, pretty annoying. Okay, cool. They are main phasing the Stoneforge. I need you to do that, actually. Oh no, don't stop. It was tapped. Commit to it. Activating Narset. Chase the Mind Sculptor. Spooky. Okay, went with the no activation on Stoneforge. It is correct to wait. Cauldron can't hurt me anyway. Why would you put it into play where it can die to sorcery speed removal, of which you have seen quite a bit? Okay, they didn't have Force last turn. I'm going to go after Narset with Prismatic Ending. I can get my engine back online. All right, cool, that's gone. Let me draw 2 cards and see what happens. 2 plows, nice. That kills the Cauldron and the Stoneforge. And I am just not going to attack. I'm going to enjoy my Monarchy and make them come to me. There's Cauldron. I'm going to draw my card still. Swords to Plowshares, the Germ token. And I don't think I need to go after the Stoneforge right now. I'm going to point a Force of Will at Jace, so that comes on the stack. Force pitching Brainstorm. Okay, they've got the Force back. Pitching True Name. Cool. Jace is going to resolve, and this is why I didn't attack with my Knight. If they minus on the Knight, thinking that they're going to get an attack, that's really good for me. And please don't have Spell Pierce. Cool. All right. Yep, Jace, 4 mana unsummon. That did not give you the Monarch. And now Jace plus the One Ring versus the Monarchy. Old versus new. One Ring, draw me 3 cards. I believe if they had a Spell Pierce, it would have been cast last turn. We are going horsing. 4 horses. I also think if they had a removal spell, it would have been pointed at my creature instead of minusing Jace. But I will send 2 at Jace, 2 at my opponent, just to cover the spread here. Make sure they got nothing going on going into my next turn. Wow, they did have a removal spell. Weird. That Jace minus, very strange if you have Swords to Plowshares. Okay. Glad I made the attack that I did. And shields are currently down. If they shove a back to basics here, I'm going to have to get it done with what I have, but I do have quite a bit. Wow, just passing. Deal. There's 1 Uro left in my deck, and the One Ring is getting pretty hungry. Oh dear. Speaking of hungry, what's up, Carpet of Flowers? Let's go for one of these. Build 4 mana Ritual in the mid game. And I'm just going to attack with all my horses first, and then decide what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. This Carpet doesn't trigger till 2nd main. I would like a big heckin' pile of blue mana with this. And start with Teferi. See what you're working with over there. Now or never. Got that hardcast Force. Got a Snapcaster. Do I care about this? What does this do? Don't think I care about this. Targeting Brainstorm, go for it. I'm going to activate my ring in response to this Brainstorm. I think this is the moment where they can't blow me out with a Hull Breacher, and they're less likely to have counter spells. And then Teferi can bounce the ring to protect my life total, or I can play a second one and Legend Rule the first. I've got lots of options here. And their Brainstorm just didn't get there. Also, just have this Uro now. That's fun. How about Uro? The old Titan of Nature's Wrath. Add up that life total, hit some land drops. Volcanic Island comes into play. Mystic Sanctuary. Can get 4th Eorlingas back. Or I would rather have Force of Will, right? Yeah, I'm going to put Force of Will on top of the deck. And then minus Teferi, bouncing your Snapcaster. Now my Monarchy is not under any sort of pressure. And play a fresh One Ring, giving me protection from everything and resetting the life loss, and my opponent has seen enough. That was a kicking, holy smokes. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. I'm on the draw for round 2 against a Eorlian strategy. I'm going to keep this full house, 3 forces to prismatic endings. This hand has game against fair and game against unfair. And I don't know what unfair Eorlian decks there are. Cephalid Breakfast, I guess, is one that could go that direction. I know some folks have been doing that lately. Doesn't seem like that's what's happening. Okay, yeah, this is just some 4-color, probably nonsense. I'm going to fetch Savannah and go after their Halfling. They mull to 5. I am going to try to punish that. If they have a Wasteland in the 3 cards left in their hand, then this game might get interesting. Yikes, okay. Here we are. I don't play basic planes. That was a lock. Okay. I found my next land. We're going to at least hit our 2nd and 3rd land drops here. Can't play Halfling with what I got. Fetch land, easy. I think I get my forest here. Maybe that makes me a coward, but I don't want to just get locked out by a Light from the Loam, though I have Force of Negation in my hand. Yeah, maybe that was supposed to be a non-basic. No, whatever. Pretty safe way to move into turn 3 here. Leyline Binding, yeah, I don't care. That's fine. 3 cards, or 2 cards in their hand. I can answer that, and then they have 1 card left in their hand, and I have 3 counter spells in mine. I don't really want to get Bowmastered here, if that's their 1 card left, but I could force it if I need to. Yuck, I hate that. But alright, I'm going to cast Ponder and just hope the last card isn't Bowmaster. Looks like it's not, and looks like we found the way to punish. There's a 4th Eorlingas right there. I can prismatic ending this Halfling, and then next turn jam 2 horses into play, protect it with Force of Will against their 1 card hand, and then I'm the Monarch. And we're doing it. Fetched a Volcanic Island in my end step. What are we doing with that? Nothing. This is 5 color, blue, white, red, black, green. Yeah, 5 colors confirmed. I think I'm gonna Force of Negation. Save the 1 life point. I was gonna force this pitching force no matter what, but it's just, do I want it in exile? Do I want to save the life? Can't imagine this would be a Daze deck. I'm just gonna go 2 horses and be the Monarch. 4th Eorlingas. Okay, we're in there. If I draw a blue card off the Monarch right now, I don't think I can lose. Let's see what happens. I'm certainly favored from this position, but these decks are powerful. Okay, they have a 1-turn window to do stuff. Next turn, I can play land number 5 and have Hardcast Force available. Cool. I'm going to go in with my horses. Now that I have land number 5, I'm just not worried about a lot. End step, trigger. Do have Bowmaster. I'm going to get a Tundra. My Savannah's already gone. Do I need double white for anything? I would like some more white, or would I like more green? I really want Savannah. Bummer. Hate that it's gone. Okay. I'll double up on green and Force of Will this Bowmaster and hope that their last card in hand isn't Spell Pierce. I could have attacked with 1 horse and Plow would have done enough here. I am kind of just trying to get this game over while I still have advantage. Oh no, what is this? Uro. Okay. That card's pretty good. It doesn't take the Monarch though. And they didn't put a land in off of that. 2 spells in their hand. And I have Mystic Sanctuary in my deck. I'm going to Sanctuary the Force back to the top. Then I draw that with the Monarch trigger at the end step, and opponent sees the writing on the wall. Okay, we beat up the mull to 5 in the control mirror. I hope that is true most of the time. Pyroblast is reasonable here. Veil of Summer versus Bowmasters. It buys me 1 turn to do stuff. Carved a Flower is pretty good. Force Negation seems mid. They are a Wasteland deck. I like Loam a lot. I don't know if I can go Forceless in this matchup. I could go down to 3, certainly. Terminus, I probably want this. These decks usually play Green Sun Zenith, and a lot of their engines are creature-based. They're an Uro deck, they're probably a Loam deck. Does that mean I want 1 Surgical in? And if so, where am I putting it? I think I like the Plows. Yeah, I just said they're a creature deck. I'm boarding in Terminus. Why would I board out Plow? And in Terminus, that doesn't make a lot of sense conceptually. I think the cut is a Halfling, a Teferi, or an Uro. I think among those options, it's Teferi. I could do the side pivot thing of turn Loam into Carpet of Flowers, but they're probably a Leovold deck, and Carpet's real bad against Leovold. I'm not going to make room for Veil of Summer. This is what's happening. Containment Priest has text versus Yorion and Green Sun Zenith, both of which I'll try to answer other ways. This deck is just really tight. That core engine of Rings and Teferis eats up a lot of deck space. We got the 1-lander with Brainstorm versus the confirmed Bowmaster deck. I think I'm going to mulligan this. Okay, I like this better. And I'm just deciding which 3-drop I want, 4th Eorlingas or Teferi, and I think it's Teferi. Underground Sea, pass. Found land number 3. The world's most obvious Bowmaster is being telegraphed right now. It's going to hit my land drop and pass. They put Yorion in hand, okay. I'll take this clean window to Brainstorm in their end step. A Tundra to do so. Sand definitely wants white mana. I have Force back up now. If I put back Swords to Plowshares and Forest, or do I want to line up the land drop? I can shuffle away one of the Plows and just redraw the Forest. Do I want to get red here or build out my core Bant? I can fetch red whenever. I think I want Savannah here. And Teferi's on the stack. Now or never on a counterspell. Let's see it. Smoke him if you got him. Force pitching Yorion. How important is Teferi versus... Alright, I am going to force back. And they're forcing back again. Okay. What a bloodbath. Opponent's got 2 cards left in their hand. I've got 3 cards in mine. Let's see if they can jam some value permanent now that breaks the parity. They did not. Ooh, interesting. They have 3 spells in their hand. I know that because they just missed their land drop in this tight situation. I could play this 4th Eorlingas, and I think I will. I'll just push whatever advantage I have right now. Force Eorlingas. And I'm just going to push, try to take the Monarch. If I attack with 1 horse, then Bowmaster is a clean trade, but then nobody's the Monarch, and maybe that game's better for me. But if they just have nothing, then I want to be the Monarch. And okay, yeah. Nothing was the answer they had at the time. They found land number 4, and they have the 1 ring, though. Okay, they're not taking any damage this turn. But I'm still the Monarch. I'm about to get Uro going. I can also exile their ring. I think that's necessary. Green, red, white, blue. Only I get to draw cards. Those are the rules. Monarch trigger. Blighted Halfling. Cool. Right on time for that one. Another ring. Disappointing. Alright, I'm also a deck full of rings. If I can get to them. Oh, now we're Eorlinging. I'm going to start with Uro. Draw my card, get my action here before Bowmasters is a thing. Terminus. And Halfling. Draw a card in the end step. It's another Tundra. Okay. Opponent has untapped with a ring. They took 1 damage from it. They're going to start drawing crazy numbers of cards, but I'm horsed up over here. Uro's in my graveyard. Wasteland, okay. They can kind of pick a color at random if they want to. or they can keep that as a mana source. Wasting my red, you got it. Well, I have an uncounterable Uro here. Life from the Loam. A spell that I enjoy casting quite a bit. I'm going to start with that. I still have the land drop if they think that fighting over a Loam is suddenly important. Play the Volcanic Island they know about. Fetch some colored source of mana here for Uro. Green, green, blue, uncounterable blue. All of this still hits a land drop this turn. Or hits a land drop from Uro. I've already played my land drop for the turn. Horses can attack. Monarch trigger. And I don't think I need to plow this Halfling right now. If they already have a ring in play, which is the thing I'd be worried about. Brainstorm happens. They do have access to a lot of cards here, no doubt about it. Misty Rainforest puts them to 6. Ponder. Yeah, they're kind of spinning wheels here. They need to either answer the ring or gain life, or it becomes a very real liability. They're on a 2-turn clock to their own ring if they tap it here. There it is. Okay. Legendary spell. Looks like another ring. Yep, okay. They have protection for the turn. And the ring count is back to 0. Now it's back to 1. Uro can still attack here. My own ring. You're in trouble now. Okay, attack with Uro. This one still does stuff. Put in Scalding Tarn. They do not take 6, which is convenient because that's their life total. The 1 ring, uncounterable from me. This is magic now. And we are, despite them activating their last couple rings many times, I've had the Monarch most of the game, and I've triggered Uro 3 times now. So we're actually back on card and ring parity. Wild adventure this has been. Opponent asked how we fit all these into 60 cards. Good question. And the answer is we're basically not doing anything else. Okay, cool. I have a Pyroblast. I'm going to have to discard a hand size, which would have been avoidable if I didn't tap my ring. But it's fine. I have Life from the Loam going, plenty of lands. Opponent goes to 5. And they're up to 10 cards in their hand at 5 life. Caracas, annoying. Not going to be Pyroblasting Brainstorms here. I'm going to be Pyroblasting counterspells on this 4th Eorlingas. Ooh, they have Lorien Revealed in their deck. That's a sweet card that I will be featuring soon on the channel. Shaking up Eternal formats all over the place. We also have our upcoming episode of the Eternal Glory podcast, which should release within a day or two of this video's release. That we're going to be talking about Lorien Revealed and the building blocks of Magic the Gathering in terms of cantrips, baubles, and 1-mana land cycling cards that also do stuff in the late game. Kind of the fundamental core of Magic decks. Oh, we're at the phase where we're just randomly blue blasting 2/2s that have been in play the entire game. Good shit. Okay. Looks like they want the Monarch. Is that what this movement is about? I don't blame you. The Monarch is very good, but I'm going to try not to let you have it. Force of Will, pitching Lorien Revealed. Okay. This one I'm willing to Pyroblast. I'm going to target spell if it's blue. All of this is just kind of bait, by the way. Like, this barely even matters. My plan is to shove another 4th Eorlingas for more than they have life total. And my Mystic Sanctuary is still in my deck. I'm going to pick up Force of Will here to shove through the Eorlingas. Okay, I take 1 from my ring, a trivial 1. Activate my ring. They're probably... Oh, they didn't have Bowmasters, that's lucky. Cool. I thought for sure they would. And now I have Force and Red Blast back up for this mighty army of horses. X equals 7. And we got the GGs. I'm sure many people feel strongly about ring versus ring combat. I love this type of Magic. 2 decks with 4 colors or more. My opponent has 5 that we've seen, and rings, and they're uncounterable, and just jockeying for position throughout. Like, I love this sort of Magic, and Glad we came out on top in it. Let's go.
You come here to level up at Magic. To level up as a software engineer, check out the new YouTube series Dev Better, hosted by the founder of 7Factor Software and Magic player, Jeremy Duvall. 7Factor's small teams of high-performing engineers build custom mobile apps, APIs, and highly scalable systems for Fortune 500 companies and ambitious startups with great ideas. If you'd like to hire 7Factor, or maybe join their team, contact them through their website at 7factor.io. And don't forget to subscribe to 7Factor's YouTube for every episode of Dev Better.
On the draw for round 3, Island Ponder Keep. Let's go. Seat of the Synod. I'm glad I have Prismatic Ending here. My arch nemesis of Island Ponder Keep is Chalice of the Void, and there it is. It's alright, we'll find our way through this, maybe. But we'll play Draw Magic, coming in clutch here. Podcast, nice. The sideboard is not really stacked for this. Not a single meltdown. This is one Force of Vigor. Certainly a matchup you could respect more if you wanted to. Like I said, I just took this list from Anzi. They are bobbling me. Lotus Petal. Just keep playing cards. It's not even fair. I'm going to fetch this turn anyway, so I might as well hide this information. Normally, I don't like fetching just to hide information, but I'm literally going to cast a 2-mana spell anyway, and if I can deny them something while I do it, might as well. Prismatic Ending for 2. Total mana. X equals 1. Get rid of this stupid thing. Nope, JK. Force of Willing me. That's fine. We're going into the Uro, then One Ring phase of the game. They do have an Urza Saga, though. They're just firing on all cylinders over there. Emery. All right. Another cylinder unlocked. How many cylinders does this car have? Either Spellbomb is at least locked out by their own Chalice. They can tutor some Graveyard Hate now, though. I don't think I care. We get Volcanic Island and play Uro. Drop Tundra into play and pass the turn. Ooh, they didn't make a construct. That had to be a misclick. The mana was up. That was totally free. That's good for me. I don't think it's going to matter, but we take those. I expect to see Soul Guide Lantern here, but they might just get Shadow Spear and go bigger than Uro. Just say, like, my construct is bigger than your thing. Good luck. But I do think it's going to be Graveyard Hate. Oh, wow, they got Bauble. Are they holding their Graveyard Hate, or is it not a card in the deck, or do they just not care about Uro? Oh, they have Kappa. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good too. This would be a great turn to draw Terminus. It's a 1-of in the deck. It is my out right now. Terminus. Oh, Force of Will. Not quite what I was looking for. Okay. If I Uro this turn, then One Ring next turn, I think that provides me with the most draws versus life total ratio. So if I spike the Terminus, that sweeps up Uro this way. Oh, there's the freaking Terminus. Okay. Now I need a land. Okay. The tension is there. We have a long-term plan for this game, which is be alive and then cast Terminus. I have Force back up. They can't Aether Spellbomb. They could Otawara. That would be good for 14, 15 damage. And they need to play an artifact, which is easy with Emery around, obviously. But they need to play an artifact or else Uro just eats the Kappa. Yep, they bobbled me and then refired the bobble. I'm not ready to Force of Will this bobble to maybe make Kappa blockable for a turn. That's not where we live right now. It's 15 damage. I go to 7. Uro attacks. I'm up to 10. Then I can One Ring. All right, gotta take it. This is Uro's house now. And they just passed. Cool. They got a bobble draw. Swords to Plowshares, that doesn't help. Uro, get in there. We're looking for land number 6. Oh, they do have the Otawara. Sure. Disappointing. But I have the One Ring. One Ring to rule them all. You were deceived. They can't even bobble me. That's so funny. Yeah, they have to do it now. Sick. Okay. I'm going to draw a card in case it's my land drop. I would like to make that. It was Force of Will. Okay. In my cleanup step, I could discard it Uro and just put it in the graveyard, where it's probably better off. Or this Delighted Halfling that is not helping me this game. Okay, I think I'm going to dump a Halfling. Uro could still gain life, and that could be relevant. So I need one of my top 3 cards in my deck to be a land, and then I have to stabilize versus my own ring, which the pair of Uros should be able to do. Also, any ring that I find is a rebuy, just do this turn cycle again. And they know about this Force of Will because they just saw it with Bobble. They know about one of them. They don't know about the other. Ugh, there's a Saga. I needed to dodge that. That will just outmuscle the Terminus in short order. I can refire the Terminus. Chalice on 3. That turns off Uro. It does not turn off Terminus. I have to Force of Will this. Yeah, that was a tight play. I don't like it. My life total being as low as it is. Big problem. Luckily, they can't use these baubles and refill their hand. As long as I find the land in my top 3 cards, Terminus is likely to resolve. Oh no. Come on, deck. Don't do me like this. We're in there. You can fetch a Savannah and cast Terminus. Slurp up this battlefield. Then next turn I can Prismatic Ending the Chalice, play an Uro, Swords to Plowshares to be alive, and hope for the best from there. I will be at 2, starting my next turn. Tight squeeze. And they can fire off their baubles to refill their hand. Fired off one of them, keeping a few around for construct size and affinity concerns. Wasteland would be a pretty good hit here, actually. Urza's Bauble. Ancient Tomb, 1 card left in their hand. Okay, they're sending it. Alright, deck, I'm going to 2 in my upkeep. Then I get to draw 4 cards if I want them all. 5 if we count the Uros. Okay, you draw a card for Bauble. I go to 2. And that's a land. That can get Terminus to the top of my deck. Is that helpful? Yes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Uro puts me to 5. Ring puts me back to 2. Fetch puts me to 1. I can't force if I take this line. I'm thinking about Mystic Sanctuary Terminus to the top, activating Ring on their turn, and wiping out all the creatures. I guess all lines here start with Uro. Green, blue colorless, leave all my white available. I think white is the most important color right now. A hard cast Force that makes this difficult. The Uro triggers success. Put in a land. Uro dies. And if I have to Force of Will, I lose. I'm gonna end the Chalice and hope this works. Alright, I can Swords to Plowshares and stay alive a little longer. If I don't want to Terminus. They could tutor Pithing Needle on either Ring or Misty Rainforest, and those are both really good. I guess they have to make the construct first, and I can do everything I want to do before that happens. Okay. Got a plan. Okay, there's the other construct. That resolves. Then I'm going to fetch to 4, bring myself effectively to 1, and then try to Uro my way out of this game. If they have Force of Will, they win because I can't afford to force back. Oh, I could just Brainstorm. That saves the Ring activation. Yeah, that's way better. Okay. Let's see if Terminus is going to resolve, and then I can decide if I want to activate Ring or not. Another Force in my hand. Put back Delighted Halfling and Swords to Plowshares. And then, yes, I would like to reveal this miracle. How'd we do? Glad I played around it with the Brainstorm. Force, pitching, other Brainstorm. Now I go to 1 in my upkeep instead of 0. Okay, gotta figure this out from here. The Saga's about to trigger if there is Graveyard Hate that they just decided not to get earlier in the game for some reason. That would slow me down pretty bad. This has been an awesome game, though. And their Force just pitched in Emery. Cool. Get rid of that. Pithing Needle. Confirmed. Good news. I couldn't use the ring anyway. One card left in their hand, and one bauble to activate. I got 2 Uros. Starting to gain life and take over this game. Can we do it? Shadow Spear is the last card in their hand. Cool. They are empty. I'm at 1, and I'm about to shove Uro. You get to draw. I go to 1. Draw for turn is the Swords of Plowshares we knew about. I think I need to... Do I play the one from my hand first? I think so. Just start padding the life total a little bit. This gives me room to Force of Will if I need to. That's the Halfling we knew about. Now I can play this other Uro. And if my next card down is blue, that will all have been worth it. I'm kind of clicking fast here. I probably should have left a land in my graveyard for a loam, but I have so many lands at this point. I don't think that's going to be the breaking point. Another ring. Okay, that's perfect. That will reset the one that's already in play back down to 0. It can time walk for another turn, and I just take 0 every upkeep. I need them not to pull ahead somehow right now. Bobble's not it. Bobbling my hand. They saw Force of Will at random. They got something here. Chalice on 1. Alright, don't care. Cool. I think we're over the hump here. If I can find any blue card ever to go with this Force of Will, I immediately drew the loam after just clicking past and exiling all my lands last turn. It's playing well here. That's okay, though. The one thing that could have killed me this game is my own ring, and we're going to get rid of that right now. Keep the new one. I have protection from everything. Force in my hand. Do I want a loam? I don't think so. Another bauble. Those baubles look so good on turn 1, and then so bad on turn 10. They have to bauble themselves, revealing Force of Will. That's interesting. Okay, so they have Force. A reactive card on a board where they need to be proactive to catch up. They're about to be at 4. I just untapped and I can cast Force of Will now. That land is great. You can put land into play and then second main fetch, cast loam, replay that land. Fetch. That basic island, play from the loam. And make my land drop for the turn. Force of Will in my hand. They're dead on board with 2 cards. What a game of Magic the Gathering that was. Brought to you by Terminus. Okay, survived a game I didn't think I was going to. And Force of Vigor, Pyroblast, the other Terminus all come in. Cards that are less good include. I mean, Teferi is medium in the matchup. It does have application, like bouncing Chalice matters and stuff. I'm on the draw, and these Halflings are not that important. Yeah, I think I'm just going to cut the Halflings. Halfling doesn't help me with Chalice of the Void unless they Chalice on 3 again and like try to shut off Uro and Teferi. But I can't like make my Brainstorm uncounterable, which is what I need against Chalice of the Void. Swords of Plowshares is also kind of mid. It's really good against exactly Emery, but I'm bringing in 3 Pyroblasts that are also good against Emery in the exact same capacity. In fact, better. Yeah, I'm going to go down 1 Plow, and it's not that good against a lot of stuff that their deck produces. Here we go. This hand does have 2 relevant forces for the matchup in it. The 1 lander versus the Chalice deck, a little concerning, but I think this is the type of thing that can carry its own weight. If I just get to the 1 ring, it'll undo everything that I have to do to get that far. Opponent mulled to 6. Seat of the Synod. Mox Opal versus Bobble. I could have forced there when Opal's not on, but I think I'd rather actually hit the Chalice if that's their play. Chalice resolves, and they're bobbling my hand, revealing Brainstorm at random. Bobble. They can't force at this point. I'm going to force a Vigor in the end step. Going after the Chalice and the Seat of the Synod. And have to pitch Uro. That's the only green card. I would have rather cleaned up an Urza Saga with that, but I think that line was okay. Alright, cool. Found my second land. We're moving in the right direction here. They saw my Brainstorm off of their Urza's Bauble. They know that's a card I have. Emery. I'm going to brainstorm and decide how I want to deal with that. Okay. No red source here. Sucks to find 3 answers to this thing and not have the mana to cast them. I'm going to Force of Will Emery. Pitching to Fairy. And depending on what happens here, this Wasteland, I could just try to cut out their Seat of the Synod out from under them or save it for an Urza Saga. I think I should save it for a Saga. So they did just fetch down to Opal being off. Okay, they are drawing wild here. I'm going to need more mana to execute my plan at some point. If they draw Saga, I am destroyed. But if they just whiff, they're destroyed. Is Saga even that good if they can't activate it? I think I am taking my shot here with the Wasteland. This is high risk, high reward versus just middle of the road, but I kind of like it. All right, they floated a blue for unknown reasons, and it's gone. Okay, Prismatic Ending on top of my deck, and then mystery cards that I hope is a red source, and then another mana of some kind. Okay, cool. That was not an Urza Saga. They don't have access to blue mana. And now I hope to draw 2 lands in a row. Another Ancient Tomb. Come on, lands. Oh, yeah, even the red source that I asked for. It's all coming up Millhouse. Okay, now a white source off the top, since Santa Claus is in town. Just let me draw a white source now. I won't be picky. I'll take any land, but if it were a white source, I would not be grumpy. Oh no, an island. If only I had an answer to blue spells. Thoughtcast. I'm going after it. I just want to slow them down here. Okay, it is not a white source. Deeply unlucky. I'll have to settle for just the One Ring on this completely stable board. Bobbling me in response. They will see this card. And now I will see this card. It's a Ponder. Okay. Go. 2 cards in their hand, facing down the One Ring. Mox Opal, nowhere near online ever. Hold a 4 mana Thoughtcast, you'll love to see it. Urza's Bauble, that can't be activated at this moment. I would certainly feel better about this game if my deck had even 1 Meltdown in it. That's the sort of thing you just draw into and laugh your way to the bank when it hits. And instead, I'm just sort of treading water here. Okay. I like this water that was tread. I'm going to put the Uro in my hand now. Play it. It's going to draw the land that's under it, and that land can represent Pyroblast or Swords to Plowshares as necessary. Flooded Strands in play, and pass the turn to my opponent. They are in some trouble. Bobble. Okay. Bobble pass. Love it. Force of Will, is that what you're showing me right now? I'm going to draw another Flooded Strand. And I can blue, blue, green, green with what I have. Green, green, blue, blue. I'm going to leave Wasteland in my graveyard. I think that's better than Force of Vigor at this stage of the game. I'm only really worried about Urza Saga. Here's this hardcast Force they telegraphed. I have the Pyroblast for that. I'd also like to draw a pile of cards in response, just for good measure. I actually shouldn't have done that. I should have fetched Volcanic Island, then drew a pile of cards, because if I drew the other Volk, I couldn't respond here. Little misstep, unpunished though. Yeah, okay. Just out-muscled 8-cast, no specific hate at all. And who needs it? On to the next one. Let's go Terminus. The Command Tower software by Eminence Gaming is perfect for hosting TCG events. It features easy-to-create event registration for 1v1 and 4-player Swiss structured tournaments. Event management has never been so simple, and it's web-based, so there's no download required. Get access for just $5 at eminence.event/subscribe. I'm on the play in round 4 with a hand that is a little awkward. Solid in a fair matchup. This Force just hanging out. This is a Snapkeep. If any of these 5 lands is a blue card, I think I'm going to mulligan as it is. This doesn't quite do enough. Here we go. Island Ponder. Let's rock. I'm going to keep this in bottom 4th Eorlingas. I want that later. not now. And I have enough ponders that I'm okay firing off one of them despite not knowing the matchup. Land, Brainstorm, One Ring. Cool. I like the land, I like the Brainstorm. And we'll see if we like the One Ring. Scalding Tarn is the start for my opponent. And now I'm just going to land go with a shuffleable Brainstorm available to me. The argument to Brainstorm here is Halfling. I know my top card is One Ring right now. If the card under it is a Halfling, then I could have Uncounterable Ring next turn. But I think I'm cool just chilling till I know more. So I am setting myself up to get BTFO'd by Bowmaster. Okay, a Tropical Island. And a Ponder. Go for it. Not getting Bowmastered. Good news, everybody. At least not yet. Maybe later. Misty Rainforest from my opponent. And they did choose to shuffle their Ponder. Brainstorm. Bunch of lands and the ring. I'm going to put back Basic Island and Misty. Yeah, I'm just going to, and I'm not going to shuffle. I'm just going to shove Uro this turn and get way ahead. Ooh, are we a Stifle deck? That'd be kind of annoying. I still have a lot of lands, so it's fine, but whatever. Fascinating. We're some sort of Bant Stifle deck. You got it, homie. Guess I'm gonna Ponder here. Force of Will and another land underneath it. Yeah, I guess I'll take these cards in their current configuration. They were against some sort of Bant tempo deck. I wonder if this is a Dreadnought strategy or if they're like pokepiling, like they have 1 or 2 Stifles and some Uros to leverage them. Wasteland, yikes. Okay. We're going to be fighting for our lives here. I have my next 2 land drops lined up, but don't really like where this has gone. Brainstorm is top of the deck right now. That's also a card that I like. Ponder from my opponent. Savannah. Yeah, proper Bant strategy here. Deck probably has Noble Hierarch in it. Runame Nemesis, Stoneforge Mystic. Just trying to fill out the rest of the deck here. Life from the Loam, targeting the Wasteland. Gross. I'm going to Brainstorm in response to this. Them looping Wasteland before I get Uro online is kind of a beating. Okay, that's a bunch of lands. I'm going to put back Prismatic Ending and the One Ring. I still have hopes for the One Ring. And I'm not going to force Life from the Loam. Yep, there's that. I have to clean up. Probably just discarding one of the lands we've already seen. Alright, you got another Stifle. Can I play Uro? What's going on here? Yep, you got another Stifle. Is this worth a Force of Will to me? I think being under the gun as I am to the Waste Lock as well. I don't feel happy with that, but it happened. I'm gonna get Volcanic Island as a distraction. I don't want to run out of white sources to these wastelands before they show me how they win the game. And I'm gonna fetch Basic Forest right now before they untap into more Stifles. Okay, something resembling stability is here. They did not dredge their loam. Are they going to shove a One Ring here? Are they going to shove a Minskin Boo here? Minskin Boo in your Stifle deck. Shit's wild, but it's working. Okay, this is going to hurt. Okay, One Ring with Force backup. Or I could put Uro into play here. I think I want the One Ring. Nice of this Forcible to show up after Minskin Boo's in play. I have Protection. I'm going to draw a card now so it doesn't get stifled. I also have a land drop still. It's another One Ring. They saw me miss a land drop. If they start dredging now, it's probably pretty smart. Still didn't dredge. I just need to come up with white mana and Prismatic Ending and answer the hamster. That's it. Your own ending. I guess I'll... Nope. I have another ring in my hand. This is fine. Take it. This is another turn of protection and 1 damage I don't take. Hamster is huge. Another ring. Onto the stack it goes. Brainstorm in response. Okay, that's not Spell Pierce. That's what I was worried about. And they can manipulate this Brainstorm with Life from the Loam days. Jeez. In your Minsc & Boo deck? Come on. Give me a break here. Fighting for my life. Old 4-color hot band tempo. Terrifying. I'll draw a card. I do still have a land drop. Terminus tilt. Well, didn't have the mana to do that anyway. It's fine. This hamster is a smooth little 10-10. Going into the first turn it can hit me. Since it arrived. It did Dredge Loam. Okay, now they're wise to the game now. Start wasting me, it'll be hard to lose. And taking me off red means that even if I rip a white source, I can't. Prismatic Ending Minsc & Boo. Tarmogoyf, wow. Okay. So we're like 4-color Delver, but also with Minsc & Boo and Loam. This is an unholy union if I've ever seen one. And we're dead. Okay. Wild. Yeah, I was not ready for any of that. Okay. Terminus is going to be good here. Carpet of Flower is going to be really good here. Blue Blast is a hit for Minsc & Boo. Pyroblast can fight over Stifles and stuff. Or some Negation, mid. Force of Will, mid. Life from the Loam seems very important. The Swords of Plowshares didn't seem important that game. We did see Tarmogoyf though. They've certainly achieved the squeeze that they were looking for, which is they can go big enough that I'm not sure if I want Plow, but small enough that I'm not sure if I want Force. It's an effective strategy. I might go down to 1/4 Eorlingas. Or Teferi's probably worse than that. Okay, this looks like a plan. Kind of sucks that the Hydroblasts are really only for Minsc & Boo. Though that is the card that killed me. Alright, maybe I lean on Red Blast to get my stuff through Stifles. And then we'll figure out the rest of it after that. Okay, Snapcape. I can fetch my 2 basic lands and have a mana dork this game. I'm not sure if fetching the basics is going to be correct in the long run. I'm actually a little worried about that. I would like an uncounterable Uro on 2 though, if they can't answer the Halfling. Okay, I didn't get lightning bolted. How about Uro? I'm doing it like this because Stifling Wasteland is the same as Stifling a fetch land. I'm still down a land and they're down a Stifle, without me making a whole lot of progress in any important directions. And by using Wasteland for mana, gets me the big mana jump. Passing turn 2 with 4 mana in play is pretty sick. Circling Uro, just like that. Get fucked me. Okay, 4th Eorlingas is going to have to win this game on its own. But they see the 1 ring looming. The 2 rings, as it were. They're fetching. They've got something to do here. I hope they just shove Tarmogoyf for some crap I don't care about. Yes, alright. Okay, uncountable 1 ring is coming. I'm getting through the Stifle Wall. The Great Stifle Wall. I'm going to grab Island. Now the chicken line of I could Ponder, hit any land, gets me moving forward, but if they have days on Ponder, then they're not getting 1 ringed. I think I just take my shot on the ring, which can still cantrip and maybe still hit my land drop. Draw a card right away. Had the land. Too easy. Fetch around Stifle and cast Ponder with a Tundra. Swords to Plowshares and another source of white mana. Cool. I like all those things. And I have protection for the turn. Go. Uro. Yep. Expected that one to be in there somewhere. Are they going to stifle it in? Nope. Okay. They just don't have a stifle. Or they think they have a better target for it. Okay, Swords to Plowshares in my hand. I'm going to activate the ring. Start there. Probably should have played my land first so I could Pyroblast in case they want to stifle this ring activation. But that's actually fine because the burden counter is part of the effect, not part of the cost. That would be sort of like tap Raven's Crime. I would play that card. Disrupting Scepter in shambles. Okay, handful of cards now. I could try to waste them off white. Yeah, I think wasting them is meaningful. Getting a fetch and response. Yeah, so there's this little game of chicken here where even if I Pyroblast this Stifle, they could then daze my Pyroblast, picking up the Tundra that I'm targeting with Wasteland. I think I'm just going to take the deal here and then allow Tarmogoyf. And I'm casting all my spells now before they untap and can do stuff about it. Fourth Eorlingas, that's interesting for next turn. I don't need a third One Ring. Do like the Blue Blast. I'm actually going to get rid of both the rings for now. And just attack for one, I guess. If they just elbow tap for Uro here, I can Pyroblast it. They're one card short. Okay, cool. I can Hydroblast this thing. Volcanic Island is the card either way. Blue Blast this. Please don't have force. Okay, we did it. We cleared that one. And now we have fourth Eorlingas and the One Ring going. Oh, baby. That doesn't really help with fourth Eorlingas. I mean, if I don't want the Monarch to be in the game, it's actually pretty good with fourth. I'll also just draw a bunch of cards and see where that takes me. Yeah, I'll start there. Carpet of Flowers get in. I could just make 2 horses now, back it up with Pyroblast, and then pick up the fourth again next turn, if that's important to me. I could also just sit behind this wall of interaction and chill. Yeah, I'm just going to go to second main and cast Brainstorm off of Carpet of Flowers. Still holding out hope for Teferi. There he is. Get rid of these lands. They're no longer needed here. White mana off the Hobbit. Teferi in. Fetch a green source. Life from the Loam. And I've already made my land drop, unfortunately. I'm going to plan that one better. Can't waste them here. But I do have Plow and Pyroblast available. And I know fourth Eorlingas is going to just go to town next turn. Blasting Teferi. Disappointing. Okay, he's gone. Ponder, go ahead. Goes not to shuffle. Terrifying. Null Rod. Okay. I'm done with that phase of the game. It's fine. We'll tech. Alright, here come my horses. I'm getting bolted every turn from a spell that no longer works. But let's hope this is worse for them. I'm gonna make white. No, I'm gonna make red. Yeah, I'm gonna make red. Play Wasteland, and then... Okay, X equals 7. That should be enough. I'm playing around Daze, and I can Pyroblast, and that should cover the 2 cards in their hand. Pyroblast, your Force of Will, which pitched Uro from your hand. Alright, horse is going crazy. Wasteland, a green source. Now they need to draw a green land for Uro to be a player in the game. And they're going to die a lot faster than I am. Okay. You're up. 1 draw step to rule them all. And I don't even think Uro stabilizes here. I just attack with all my creatures. Yeah, they still take way more than 10, if that's the case. They need a sweeper. Cool. Got him. Okay, they brought in Surgicals for my Uros. That means I can back off of one of them a little bit, just mitigate that. And they have their own Uros. I'm on the draw now, that makes everything worse. If they have Null Rods, I can shave a One Ring as well. Get a Surgical in here, and I get one more card. Probably, it's either Hydroblast or one of the Forces. Them being a 4-color deck, they're probably going to have less red than normal in a Delver Tempo strategy. They have all these white cards for reasons. Yeah, I guess I'll bring in a Hydroblast. Minsk and Boo is just such a problem. Okay, this is what I'm doing. I'm not totally sold on this Surgical. I'm just going to try it. I'm more worried about Wasteland and getting rid of that so they can't Wastelock me again than I am about Uro. But it does have enough things to do. On the draw with a hand that is susceptible to Stifle, a little bit. I mean, all hands are susceptible to Wasteland and Stifle in this deck. I'm in. What we signed up for. The old Tundra go. Nothing suspicious there. Oh. Okay, if I can wiggle them into letting me have a single green mana, I just don't care about Wasteland or Stifle ever again. Instead, Brainstorm, go for it. Land number 2, following their aggro instead Brainstorm. All 4 colors. The perfect mana base doesn't exist. Deeproot Wayfinder. This is a card you have? That's wild. Okay. Alright. If they don't have Force of Will, I'm in great shape. If they do, I might lose. Okay. I'm gonna go for the Carpet right now while the Stifle shields are down. Tropical Island. Carpet of Flowers. That's a good Force of Will. Tilt. Okay. And I have the white source to just plow this thing next turn. Going for the big swing. A Wayfinder is going to be able to put this Scalding Tarn back into play. Getting their ramp on over there. Please don't surveil into a Wasteland. They kept the card and then put Scalding Tarn into play. Got it. Pyroblast. I think I'm going to plow in their upkeep. Or I could just wait. I think I want to... and if they just Minsc and Boo me here, I'm dead. Okay, in combat, Swords to Plowshares. Can't Fluster this, can't Spell Pierce this, can't Daze this. You just use 2 of your forces. They could hardcast a Force of Negation, or they could just let their creature go. It's already drawn a card. Maybe better than drawn a card, it's already ramped them. Wrenn and Realmbreaker. Cool. We're in the full insano nonsense phase of the game now. How are all these cards in the deck? I have the same question my last round opponent had of me. This is a 60 card deck. Where'd you find all the room for these things? How are they there? Okay, they're land tap for any color. They can make them 3/3s. They milled 3. They can pick up Waterlogged Grove and put it in their hand. They almost missed on that mill 3. That would have been nice. Okay, you get a Waterlogged Grove here. It would be really nice if I can draw the land for the One Ring and get going. Teferi Time Raveler. Is that better or worse than Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath? Teferi doesn't really do anything on this board, and okay. Uro it is. Uro's here. Hit the land. I can Pyroblast now if I need to. Though I have to respect Stifle, which I'm mad about. Waterlogged Grove is a creature now. With Hexproof. They figured that out. Can't Swords of Plowshares this, can't Teferi it. It's just a big ol' 3/3 doing work. And they're passing on that. Okay, Wasteland's pretty decent here. I think I play the One Ring with Pyroblast up here. Or this might be a spot to invest into Teferi, but that gets Pyroblasted. Yeah, I think I'm gonna One Ring. I don't need Wasteland this turn if I have protection from everything. Force Negation, alright. Am I getting got by a Stifle here? Nope. Daze is live though. Just hoping for the best. We got something. I hope it's Brainstorm and not a real spell. Hydroblast, disappointing. Okay, my ring is gone. And let's see if they have the Minsc and Boo to follow up. It's very clear I don't have a counterspell now. They didn't have this land last turn, they just drew that, and they didn't Minsc and Boo me last turn, unless they were holding up interaction, waiting for me to blink first. But this was their draw for sure. Yep, bunch of red and green mana in the pool. Can't wait to die. Okay, they floated a bunch of mana, then activated Wrenn and Realmbreaker. Okay, weird. Guess you can sequence your cards however you want, but that was very strange. Yep, taking 7 here, gross. I gotta draw a Hydroblast immediately? Is that where we are? Okay, options include put Uro into play. Nope, can't do that. I don't have green. I guess I should start with Brainstorm then. Okay, there are some choices here. Prismatic Ending answers Minsc and Boo eventually. Teferi lost his chance to be part of this game. Sorry, buddy. You suck. And I think I just have to get rid of the Pyroblast and hope that That's not how they plan to interact with me. Because I need the land, I need the white removal, and I need to fetch to make green right now. Okay, green, green, blue, blue. Burrow's on the stack. Did I guess wrong? Red blast. Okay. Nothing that I had would have changed that. And now I'm just dead. I mean, they can put me to 1 and I can wasteland the card they target with red, but no, they just attack and they minus. Okay, yeah. I needed the Uro trigger to put the white source into play and have removal up. Wild deck. Kind of like mine, but much lower to the ground, but the same color spread, at least. They have Minsc and Boo, which this deck could benefit from. Like, if I wasn't so heavy on the on-ZD card draw as a win condition gameplay, at least one of these rings and one of the Teferis, probably 3 Teferi, 3 ring, 2 Minsc and Boo, is a deck that puts a lot of heat on. That's a way to build the deck, and we just lost to Minsc and Boo twice. There it is, on to the final round. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop, and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. On the draw in the final round, a 1-lander with Brainstorm, Life from the Loam, and I get 2 draw steps. Yeah, we're doing this. Let's go. You don't play a 21 land deck if you're not willing to keep hands like this. Opponent's on 6. Let's see if we get dumpstered immediately. Misty Rainforest. Tropical Island Ponder. Nice hand. Love it. I approve of all the cards my opponent has played so far this game. Did not shuffle the Ponder. Hello, hello. I'll do the very same thing my opponent did. My fetch land's different, but my cards will all be the same. Spider-Man pointing meme. Okay, I am going to keep this land, and if they wasteland me, I lose instantly, and if they don't, I get to do stuff. I guess I have the Brainstorm to dig through these chunky spells. I'm not just dead. Tropical Island Savannah. Opponent has great choice in decks and life. Life from the Loam, heck yeah. This is how we're playing Magic today, and I'm here for it. They did get to pick up 2 lands from their Loam, and I only get 1. It's kind of a beating. This is the perfect game state at the end of a second turn, by the way. 2 Ponders, 2 Loams, 2 lands for each player that make Bant mana. Uro. Ugh. This is exactly the thing I said they're going to be better at than me because they got to pick up 2 lands. We could keep playing card for card, but I think I'm going to have to switch it up here. 1 ring is the top card on my deck right now. I don't think I'm going to Dredge Loam and get rid of that. I think I want to check what's going on with the Teferi here. I am going to get the Volcanic Island. I have a very important red card in my hand currently. Now or never on the counter spells. Never it is. I'm going to draw a card with Teferi immediately. This is a Prismatic Ending matchup. Not going to Dredge Loam. I would love to hit my natural land drop to 1 ring this turn. I have Plow for Uro if they can get... they could have Dredged Loam if they wanted to escape this turn. Quandrix Apprentice, holy moly. We've got to change a direction here. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, look at the top 3 cards of your library, reveal a land, put that card in your hand and the rest on the bottom. Okay, looks like they missed. Nothing was revealed. But yeah, that's a value engine that I have seen in decks before, but not in Legacy. Good stuff. There's a format invented by the BoshNRoll Patreon called Noble, where Quandrix Apprentice combo is actually a thing. They figured out that you could, if you have something like Chain of whatever, like something you can target yourself with infinitely, you could stack your deck, basically. That is apparently a thing that works. I am going to lock my profits and just get Loam now. Play from the Loam, target my 2 Flooded Strands. Flooded Strand plus Teferi. And I'm going to take out this Quandrix Apprentice before it does anything. I can Ponder at instant speed. I don't have any removal here. I can dig for a force if I need to. The Icefang Coatl doesn't kill Teferi on its own. I'll have to figure out my next plan for Uro. if that gets escaped this turn, because I'm not really set up for it, having just used my plow. I could just Mystic Sanctuary, Swords to Plowshares to the top, pick that off, and then One Ring plus Teferi my way to victory. Alright, Prismatic Ending's fine. Teferi did his job. Sylvan Library. Hate that one. I can still ponder in the end step. I'm gonna do it. I'll get another tropical island here. I'd love an answer to Sylvan Library, Prismatic Ending, and Teferi. They're all here. Cool. Don't shuffle, don't Dredge Loam. I'm gonna start with Teferi and see how that goes. Force of Will, pitching Brainstorm, that's fine. That was the bait spell. Removing the Sylvan Library is the important thing here. They still have a shot with their Uro. The fairy can bounce it to reset the 6/6 part, and I can Brainstorm or Ring to dig for Swords of Plowshares. They dredge their loam, that's interesting. I would not have thought you needed more lands on this board state. I would have been digging for action myself. Maybe they have some wastelands that they're digging for, or they just know that firing and refiring Uro is going to be the vibe for a while. Yep, there's Uro. It resolves. They didn't come up with wasteland on the Uro trigger. Not going to dredge loam. I think I want to Brainstorm first. I would rather Swords to Plowshares this than bounce it with Teferi. Scalding Tarn, Uro, Swords to Plowshares, cool. Those are all good things. Put 2 Uros on top of my deck. We're going to have fun here. Scalding Tarn is my land. Fairy Time Raveler is my spell. Once again, this is bait. If they force it, that's 2 cards gone, and I can plow the Uro. Brainstorm in response. Then Teferi's in there. I'm going to plow the Uro. And as much as I don't want to bounce Ice Fang Coatl, I also think it's kind of correct to do it. I'm going to bounce Coatl, dredge loam, and mill 2 Uros into my graveyard. Cool. Alright, that was fun. It does give them another card to draw, but I'm just setting up a giant Eorlingas here. There's the Coatl back. Endurance, powerful. Okay. Well, glad I have the 3rd Uro ready to go here. Do I want to Mystic Sanctuary for the road? Nah. I'll let the One Ring turn the corner and dig me out of this one. Kicking it old school over there with the endurances and stuff. It's cute. How about the One Ring? I mean, Teferi will still die here. Teferi doesn't get protection from stuff, but I do. Drawing a card. Ooh, cool. That was a good one. That answers the endurance. There is still Savannah in my deck, right? But I can't fetch it with the Scalding Tarn. Bummer. Tapped out of my white already this turn. Okay. Well, unfortunate run there. I am still going to hit my land drop, though. And make them attack Teferi for the turn. That was almost perfect. If this Scalding Tarn could get Savannah, we were in business there. They are dredging their loam still. Just trying to find an Uro or a wasteland. Probably more likely Uro than wasteland at this point. Fairy's dead. Uh-oh, they're cracking land number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They don't have a Traxa mana. Second main, so it's probably not Minsk and Boo. What are we doing? Are you a natural order deck? Oh, it's Prismatic Ending, probably. That makes sense. Yeah, okay, sure. I wish I had another one of those. Loaming 3, just generic fetch lands to the hand. Not dredging loam. Force of Will, pretty good draw. Always happy to see that. The One Ring. I have protection from everything again. I'm going to draw a card. I am not going to dredge loam. Cool. Force of Will was the reward for that. Fetch. Get island. Oh. Well, I'm playing like I have loam in my hand, and I literally just said I'm not fetching loam. Okay. Passing the turn. I'm leaving out Plow here because I want this to be the turn where I just take over Eorlingas. I force back up now. Make 5 horses. They found Wasteland, great. Okay, going after my red source is smart. I don't have a whole lot of those in the deck. I'm gonna Plow Endurance in the end step. And then begin the takeover. Not dredging loam. Activating the ring, not dredging loam. Didn't find any lands in that run, that's disappointing. Making 4 horses, smashing my opponent. I can force their force here, pitching one of the brainstorms. I'm gonna need this Uro to keep my life total flush. They can immediately reclaim the Monarch with Ice Fang Coatl, but I'm just betting my 8 damage will win the game faster than their 1. So they are at a much higher life total than me. Monarch trigger, draws a Ponder. And this Wasteland they found just doesn't even matter. I have my own loam, I have my own Uro. I'll outmuscle the Wasteland for sure. They do get the Monarch, and we go into crazy smash mode, which I'm not opposed to. You are the Monarch now. If they have Supreme Verdict here, that's actually pretty devastating, but I can force most sweepers. Where'd that come from? Force pitching, Ponder. I love a second main Minskin Boo. Okay, I think 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's time to dredge loam. Uro straight into the bin, easy mode. Gonna target lands first. And then I need to fetch the Savannah. That's the one that's left. Savannah. Green, green, blue, blue. I'm exiling the loam. I'm not gonna need that anymore. I'm also just slightly concerned about time, as usual. And I'm gonna horse in there. Allowing one of the horses deal. I am the Monarch now. I am going to try to find an answer to this Coatl and keep the Monarch. Right, no luck there. It's still Brainstorm. It doesn't matter. I get a Monarch trigger as well. Should probably count my plows. 1. Yeah, there are still 2 in there. I'm going to Brainstorm. A Terminus. That's not going to be part of this game. Okay. I have to clean up 2 cards, discarding my 2 fetch lands. Okay. I'm at 10. Uro's active. I have a force for planeswalkers and such. Oh no. Not ready for that one. Them gaining life and punishing my ring activations is a way that this could slip away. And maybe this is going to be a Terminus game. Yeah. Plowing my Uro, that's actually great. I needed that life. Got another one where that came from. So you play Uro here. I Terminus. I attack and then Terminus. Make sure I'm the Monarch. And then we restart with my Uro. Oh, geez, you have Caracas. That's okay. I have the Wasteland. I sandbagged the 1 Wasteland in the deck. It's here. If they have Swords to Plowshares, they can keep the Monarchy. No, I can force a negation it. Okay. Got options here. I take 3. And then I'm just going to Wasteland the Caracas immediately. I don't want them saving their Uro from Terminus. There's a second Eorlingas. I put that there last turn. That's another nice way to follow this up. Okay, I'm the Monarch. Second main. Terminus on the hard cast. I guess I should have brainstormed that away and activate ring. Or I could have, not I should have necessarily. Because this way I can drop my halflings and get Uro going nuts. I don't think I'm going to activate ring here. Dredged loam. Digging for Uro. I know there's one on the bottom of your deck if that helps. Okay, life from the loam is fine. They did have another Uro. Devastating. I'll activate ring in response to the escape. And they picked up their Caracas as well. I'm going to have to win this game with horses. Alright, I'd like to draw 4 cards, please. Do I have Force of Wills in my deck still? Yes. Looks like there's 3 of them in here. Let's go. Give them to me now. Those aren't them. And I exiled my Loam 100 turns ago, thinking that I wouldn't need it, and now I would like to have it to keep this Caracas in check. Okay, take 4 from the ring. It's getting heavy. There are no fetchable lands left in my deck. Uncounterable to fairy, white, blue, colorless. Okay, let's get this in. And I can activate and bounce my ring if I care. Mystic Sanctuary rebuys Force of Will. I'm interested in that. Give me that Force of Will. And then make 5 horses. Minus Teferi on Uro. Actually, yeah, fine. They can activate Caracas to stop me from drawing a card. That's just fine with me. And attack you for 10. Still the Monarch. Draw a card in the end step. We know it's Force of Will. Clean up, discard this Flooded Strand that doesn't fetch any lands anymore. Slightly behind on clock. I'm way ahead on cards in deck, and life totals are tight. I might have to Prismatic Ending my own One Ring to win this game. Though if they wasteland my Volcanic Island, I won't be able to do that. Endurance, okay. Resolves. Targeting themselves so they don't deck. Reasonable. But that means Uro's not coming back in here. Alright, you can have the front half, that's fine. Another front half of Uro, okay. Just keeping the life total flush. I don't need to activate Ring, my hand's already full of gas. Okay, let's go to my turn and start to navigate this. They took enough game actions on their turn that I'm now ahead on clock, but now it's my turn, and I have to do Uro stuff. Can I just win? Not quite. Okay. Blue, colorless, green, Uro. Just make sure I don't die to my own ring. And green, green, blue, blue. It does not matter. I can't do anything out of my graveyard anymore. Dramatic Ending, the Endurance. White, red, green. I don't even know if these plays are good. I'm just so far ahead that I need to inflict damage to my opponent before I time out for the remaining games. I'm still the Monarch too. I'm going to discard Brainstorm and Ponder in my instep probably. Or Flooded Strand and Ponder. Okay, opponent, you're up. Yeah, okay. Yeah, they didn't want to bother taking another turn's worth of game actions. I'm slightly behind on clock, up a game. This is the best Magic there is. Just nonsense, nonsense, nonsense. I think I'm kind of the aggro deck here. They have Inskin Boo, but I have this Teferi Tempo game plan. They have Icefang Coatls, though. That's weird. I think Force of Negation needs to come out. I do like some amount of graveyard hate. I'm actually going to be off Terminus and just hope that my spot removal does enough here. If I cut 2 of the plows, I should cut an Uro as well because they have Caracas that I don't have a ton of good answers for. I've seen Endurance and Uro and Minskin Boo. I think 4th Eorlingas is the most important card in the matchup on both sides. Do I shave a ring? Do I want to avoid getting ring flooded? Is that a thing? Is that a concern? Maybe. Maybe only 1 Blue Blast. And turning Delighted Halfling into Carpet of Flowers is kind of like upgrading my mana dork and playing around removal. But the uncounterability is not nothing on that. So I get 1 Delighted Halfling, 2 Carpets, and a Blue Blast. Alright, I'm going to do it like this. Same number of mana dorks, air quote mana dorks, but some of them don't have the same ability. But they make more than 1 mana. Opponent's got that Flooded Strand start. Fetching an island like a chump right away, falling for my tricks. I am well set up here to jam an early aggressive 4th Eorlingas. Tropical Island, Carpet of Flowers. Maybe I'm supposed to play basic Forest there, but I don't think so. If they carpet me back, they got me, I guess. Ponder. Blue Elemental Blast, is that helpful? I don't think I want Maybe it is. All right. It checks the Minsk and Boo box, and Prismatic Ending can answer Sylvan Library, which is something I'm concerned about right now. Or if they have their own carpet. All right, they just answered my carpet. That's fine. I'm just going to pass here, and we're settling back into the grind. You've got Neuro. Got no specific response to that. My top card is Prismatic Ending. I'm not sure if I want that. I'm going to Brainstorm in the end step. Force backup on the 4th Eorlingas. I can do that for 1 creature just to take the Monarchy, and then we can question mark profit from there. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to set up a 4th Eorlingas into 1 ring line here with Force backup. A Tundra for just 1 horse. We're in there. I am the Monarch. They would need to get some cards in the graveyard to escape Uro this turn. I have Force in case of emergencies. And that's the full flex of 4th Eorlingas. We've done a lot of big ones for like 10 plus mana this game, or this league. But that's the first turn 3, shields down, taking the Monarch moment. Oh, yikes. Well, here comes Minsk and Boo if they want it. I do have Prismatic Ending for this thing. I just need to survive whatever happens right now. Swords of Plowshares, that's fine. The damage is already done. Okay, do you have a big thing to fire in with this mana right now? Icefang Coatl, I don't care about that. Brainstorm. Yeah, they're certainly making the most out of this Dark Ritual. Wet Ritual. And left 1 mana unspent. Got him. This targets, right? Yeah, it does. Okay, so 1 ring beats this. All right, 1 ring is free money against Carpet of Flowers. I'm going to shove this into play. Just draw a card now. Then I get to draw another card in the end step. Okay, go. Their lands don't currently cast Uro. It wouldn't take much. Any blue source will do it. Okay, just another Uro is what they got. Not worried about that. And they missed their land drop on it. I have protection. Good luck with that attack. I am more worried about the clock than my opponent at this point. Pretty standard BoshNRoll state of things, actually. Hey, I'm going to draw 2 cards. Start it off in style. I think I want a Prismatic Ending the Coatl, not the Carpet. Like I just have more cards than them, and I have better cards than them, and I'm going to bet on that rather than their mana advantage. I'm so overflowing with cards, I'm just going to start discarding them. Discarding a bunch of lands. I have Loam. Red Blast, Blue Blast, Force Blue card. All ready to go here. Uro's on the stack. I'll counter it. I prefer them not to get anything going here. Uro's in the graveyard. And they're passing with mana unspent. I take 2 here. Draw for turn. I'm going to fetch, then Loam, and then probably Brainstorm. Here's the Loam. Endurance pitching Veil of Summer. Okay, that's fine. This Loam was basically an elaborate scheme to get Mystic Sanctuary, and now I can just fetch it if I care, which I don't. Activate Ring. Carpet of Flowers, found off of that. The carpet for me, a land drop from me, Prismatic Ending, your carpet. Just squeeze away all the advantage you have, 1 step at a time. I played this turn very sloppily. I should have played a fetch land and tried to do a good Brainstorm here. I'm just going to pass and try to have a good next turn. I am not playing well. I'm concerned about the clock right now. There's 4th Eorlingas. That should win the game, backed by Double Force and Carpet. Carpet's only good for 1 here, actually. Their mana base kind of sucks. Ponder, go nuts. I hope you find an island. And they've just conceded. Cool. 4-1, losing only to the card Minsk and Boo out of a lower to the ground pseudo mirror. This deck rules. This archetype is great. My aversion to Hot Bant over the recent months has been the clock. And the 1 ring just buries opponents so hard that it becomes hard to lose slowly. I think I would take that step a little forward. Like I mentioned, probably 3 Teferi, 3 One Ring, 2 Minskin Boo. I would like to actually be able to win games and cheese games out that are cheesable. The second One Ring came up a bunch of times. The third and fourth kind of whatever. And it's not a card you want to see 2 copies of early on in the game. You want the first one to find the second one, basically, so you can reset it when you need it to. But yeah, 4th Eorlingas completely cracked. This card was awesome. Just insane on turn 3, insane on turn 12. Great in all spots. Uncounterable, accelerated to fairies, obviously. Powerful effect. I'm into this. Hot Bant might be back on the menu for actual paper tournaments for me, but I would definitely have 1 or 2 Minskin Boos. Maybe 1 if you have 2 4th Eorlingas. They're kind of competing for the same spot. But yeah, maybe I would go 3 ring, 1 Minskin Boo, and keep all 4 Teferis. And I would probably add a Meltdown or 2 to the sideboard, and just respect that a little more. And that's what I would do with that. Acid, thank you for asking me to play Hot Bant. Anzi, thank you for your contributions to the community and to the decks that I love most. Everyone else, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, and I'll see you next time.